What up, y'all? So, as you have seen, we have rebranded the MEC, and some people don't even really know what happened and why we went to the At Odds podcast, and now it's the MEC. So, we're kind of flip flopping. But I'm about to tell you the story so that people understand and that we're all on the same page of exactly what happened over the past couple of years. And I don't want to edit this video, so I'm going to try to do it all in one take. But a couple of years ago, my guy Benoni was the president of radio, and he approached me because he was on the MEC, and he said, "Wow, after he was on the MEC, he got so much great engagement from fans and people that responded positively. So he knew that our community was real, and he thought that radio could potentially have the resources to take it to another level. So essentially, radio wanted to take over the MEC. Radio is Issa Rae's company, if I didn't just mention that, but it's Issa Rae's company. Benoni was the president, and the plan was for them to get into the education space and take over the MEC in order to give them kind of a launching pad, because he felt like the community was vibrant, they were active. And I agree. Obviously, we've built this community. We've engaged with this community for 5 or 6 years now. And I was at a point where I was kind of getting tired. Sometimes you start to feel like you're saying the same thing over and over to artists and producers and managers. And I just felt like radio would be a great home for the MEC because they have a lot of resources. Benoni is super smart. And I know that he had a great vision to kind of take it to another level. Time went on, we kind of put together a plan for the transition. Eventually, Benoni decided to leave radio. So he left radio, he wanted to pursue other things. He's destined for big things. Like I said, he's a really smart cat. But unfortunately for the MEC, with new leadership and a new direction, obviously when a new leader comes on board, they want to establish, kind of their plan, their own vision for the company, and the MEC wasn't going to be a high priority. And this kind of played out over, probably a year and a half, just in terms of the transition and us thinking that we were going to, be a part of the transition. But the new leadership felt like, education probably wasn't going to be where they were going to put a lot of their resources. And it's understandable because, like I said, new leaders typically want to put in their own footprint, their own vision. So no love lost, still love the folks over at radio, still great relationship. But for the MEC, it was just put in a bad place. Similar to like an artist that gets signed to a label and an A&R brings them to the label and super excited, hypes them up, and then an A&R gets another opportunity at another label, and then you're there still signed to that label because you signed the contract, but you don't really have somebody that takes care of you in the building, and you're kind of just left there. A lot of times those artists just get shelved or dropped. So that's kind of what happened with the MEC. But we had a conversation with radio recently, and they were gracious enough to just kind of give it back to us because I have a renewed commitment, a renewed energy. I think Erinn and Payne have the same thing, especially when I started the job at Too Lost. At Too Lost, I became our director of communications last year. I'm now our director of marketing, but I started attending events, conferences, and people would come up to me and tell me how thankful they were for the work that we do with the Music Entrepreneur Club. And that kind of made me feel bad that initially we had kind of handed over the MEC to radio. So now that we got this opportunity to get it back, definitely have a renewed energy, a renewed commitment. So we have a lot of exciting things planned for the MEC 2.0. So that is what happened over the past couple of years. We apologize for being inconsistent. We tried to keep things going with the At Odds podcast, and I think there's some great content there, but we have a new page. We're building out the Music Entrepreneur Club page. I still want you to go watch some of the episodes on DJ Payne One's page. If you missed some, the At Odds podcast, I believe a lot of these conversations are evergreen. So if you're new to this page and you want some more content, you can go to DJ Payne One's page. That's where we put a lot of our prior episodes under the At Odds podcast. Even when we were doing the MEC podcast before, that was put on Payne's page. But we feel like it's important to build out this page with all educational content, because on Payne's page, obviously he's a full-time producer posting all kinds of content for his community. We just felt like it was important to start a page, a community on YouTube, so that everything is music business education focused. So we'll be putting the MEC podcast on here. I'll actually be putting the independent living podcast episodes on this channel. So there'll be a lot of great resources for you guys. So hopefully you tap in. Please like, subscribe. We got to play the little algorithm game, especially with a new channel. But if you've been rocking with us for a minute, we appreciate you. We got a lot of good stuff in store, so just stay tuned. And once again, we appreciate your support. Talk to you soon. Peace.